Hello there, everyone. Thank you for attending this session today. Now, I'm going to date this to the fall of 2023, and I know that upcoming changes to the pathway system and Basecamp are coming. So just note that once those changes take place, we will be updating that training to make sure you have the most up-to-date training always. But to begin with, I want to go over today Club Central. We're going to talk about Club Central, what's there, how to use it. We're going to talk about Basecamp, how to go in, approve things, how to make things happen. Now, once again, like I said, they will be switching over to the new learning management system, or LMS. And after that, we will have a brand new video on that. But for now, I'm going to show you how to make sure that you get those approvals in, and also where to put them into Club Central, because it is a two-step process. And we're also going to cover renewals and how that's going to look and work. Now, let me share my screen. I've already logged into the Toastmasters International site, as you can see. Now, if I'm not looking at the camera, it's because I'm looking over here to my screen where the sharing is being done. Now, as you can see, it's time to renew your membership. This is only available when renewals are activated by International and during certain timeframes. So whenever you log into the TI site, you should end up on the My Home section, which is this. If not, you can hover over your name, which says welcome, and you can click My Home, which will have all of your little modules that you have access to as a club officer or district leader. Then my profile has more of your personal information on it. We're not going to go into that today, but just know that if you had to update your email address, you needed more information, or you needed to edit your preferences, it's all in your profile. As you scroll down, of course, you have the It's Time to Renew, and we'll go into that in a moment. As you scroll down, you have the education and achievements. Go to Basecamp is going to give you two different options if you're a club officer. The first option is going to be your regular membership login, and then they're going to have something called Basecamp Manager. And I'm going to go ahead and try to open this in a new link, and it worked. So as you can see, it says go to Basecamp. Now, I'm a member of multiple clubs, so don't worry if you don't see all of this. And just know if you have more than one club, it's going to look a little bit like this, and you can just click your club. It'll log you into Basecamp, and you can access your paths. As Basecamp Manager, or if you're VPE, President, Secretary, you can come in down here and you can click the club, and I'll just click this club for now. And what this will do is it'll log you in as the Basecamp Manager. As Basecamp Manager, if you're the Vice President Education, you can come and approve, check things, make sure that everything's going smoothly. However, if the Vice President Education is not available, the President or Secretary can come in and approve things as well. The main thing to look at is pending requests. Any member who completes a path and marks it complete, completes levels, marks them complete, it's all going to end up here. And normally when that happens, you'll have a green check mark saying approve it, you'll approve it. If you want to add comments, you can, and then you submit. It'll ask you, do you want to do another? Do you want to return to home? And most of the time, if you're doing more than one, you'll just keep approving. In the member progress, I don't really think we touched this much, and with the new LMS coming out, but in here, you can always hit the refresh because it doesn't load the first time around. And once you hit the refresh, it'll refresh it. And then you can actually see who has level 1s in progress, who has a level 2 in progress, who's recently completed levels, who has, how they're progressing on their paths. You can also see the path type, recently selected, external trainings. So as you can see, some of our members, are working on paths at different times. And that's how we can track, like we need to give someone a little push, or like Karen, who has 33 apparently level 2 projects in progress or something like that. But like I said, this part we don't use as much. Like myself, I have 35 right here in level 1. So I think it just means I have to go and complete them. And so as a Vice President Education, we can do that. But like I said, many of us don't use this. We just mainly use the pending request tab. Because once you're done doing that, you can also go, you'll go into Club Central later and approve it. I will do that once we hit the Club Central part. Now, as a member or vice president education or anything, you can go to the achievement boards to make sure, you know, like your credit was processed, or if you go to the dashboard, and I'd say like, I'll just pull up District 100 performance right here, boom. If you come to the dashboard and then you click, and the link for this is dashboards.toastmasters.org. You click daily reports. And this is just a really great way to make sure that you got like the credit your club submitted in. If you click education achievements, it'll pull up a list of every education achievement in the district. But like if you wanted to search for your club or the member, if you just processed a education award for a certain member, you can come in, you can look and see if that P3 or the EH2 they submitted is completed and in. And that's a great way to verify it. And we'll go back to our home. The next part we'll get into, we've covered a little bit of Basecamp. Basecamp's really simple for club officers. Like I said, once you get to new LMS, we will work on a new training for you to how to do that. So as of like in the beginning of the year, the Toastmaster, you have this like assigning club proxies. Make sure you go in and do the club proxy and voting instructions. Now, you know, it'll pull up any club you're a president or secretary of. What you want to do is you want to go in and, you know, each club has 2 votes. If you or the president or secretary is not attending or not voting, what you can do is you can pass that on to one of your district trio members. And those are for district, you know, for each district different. Make sure you check your district's website and they will, you know, have them listed normally, and you can assign proxy to any one of those you wish. But yeah, and they have step-by-step tutorials, anything like that. Now, we'll get into Club Central, which of course is the main one. If you have more than one club, you'll see a list as such. If you do not have more than one club, it'll take you directly into Club Central. Now, in Club Central, we're going to go over our first major part as if you're the VPE or president or secretary submitting educations. You'll come in to submit education awards. Now, one important point to remember is as the vice president of education, you cannot submit your own credits. In the event that you are submitting education for yourself, you need to have the president or secretary come in to Club Central and put this in. But let's say like one of our members completed something, and I'll just pick on Lena right now. Lena is working on her level 3. And so as you can see, it will show you the levels they have yet to complete. And this part is always in order. So make sure as you're going through this, they will never be able to be awarded out of order. So like say she completed level 1, you select level 1. After that, you'd review the awards. I'm not going to do that because she's not complete, but you'll review the award submission. On a level 4 or 5, or for a Distinguished Toastmaster Award, you have the ability to send letters to employers. So it's always a good thing, like if your member is employed with a company and they want to receive outside recognition, you can have an automated letter be sent to their manager. You just ask them for the emails, and then you'll click that. It'll say, is this correct? You know, do you want to add any comments? And then you'll submit it. Once you submit it, it would ask you, do you want to submit another, or would you like to return to Club Central? And whether or not you're submitting multiple at one time, that is completely up to you. For the sake of this though, I'm not going to submit. We're going to go right back to Club Central. And that is how you submit education awards. Next is membership management. Now I'm only going to open the first part or I'm gonna open up my tab as a member. I'm not gonna open up anyone else's because it does contain private information. But like if you wanted to edit, like if you want to make sure things are done, you can come into here. I'm not going to scroll down to address, but you have the ability to disable or enable self-pay on a member by member basis. So if something happens or they need help, they can do that. You can change the address if needed in the system, or you can guide them on how to do it in their profile. You can also see what date all your members are paid until. As the treasurer, this is especially important. Now, please note, there is a bug in the system preventing some from actually submitting their payments, and it's mainly happening for newly chartered clubs, which this club is. So with that, you want to make sure that you can send them to International, get with International on that at renewals@toastmasters.org. However, for most of you, you just, if the treasurer is submitting the payment on behalf of the members, you'll just add them to the cart. Once you add them to the cart, you'll hit the membership cart and do the payment process. However, if the club is completely doing self-pay, which is very recommended because it takes a lot of that legwork off of the treasurer of collecting money and submitting it. You can track it here, like Doreen, one of our members, is already paid until March, and you can see who's paid and who still needs to renew. So it's a great tool. The other thing I want to add is that if you're adding a new member into the system, you'll click this Add Member tab. And when you add the member, if they're a brand new member, you will have to enter their information and then hit Submit. If they're a dual or reinstated member, you add their last name and email or member number, and the system will locate them for you. Now, when adding new members, and yes, it does this on both screens, I'm just pulling it up for this for right now, you have the option as the club officer to either submit the membership payment with the application, or if they prefer to do self-pay, if the club prefers to do self-pay, you can actually select this, the member or club officer will submit it later. And what you can do is once you add them into the system, they will get an email which will tell them to log in and submit their payment. And so with the self-pay system, it's a little bit easier to add some of your newer members should you need to. And we'll go back to Club Central again. So for the club management portion, club contact and meeting information. This is always going to be like, how can we contact the club? What's the website? Where is the meeting? Is self-pay enabled? So that's a big one. Is self-pay enabled? When do you meet? What times do you meet? And this can be updated very regularly. So anytime you need, like you are changing your website, you're changing your email, you're changing your meeting dates, or if you're enabling self-pay, you can come in here, edit that, and click save. I recommend clubs check this at least once a year to make sure everything is up to date. Of course, club officer assignment at the end of your term, whether it's 6 months or 1 year, you want to come into the club officer assignment and make sure that like everyone's in. Now, once it becomes time to submit the list, you will see another tab here that says, the next year or the next cycle, and it'll allow you to submit the officers. Next is the club success plan, and I won't click into this one. Basically, it gives you a way to input, anything. It'll go into like how your club is going to do well, how it's going to succeed. You can upload it. You have your club's demographics, which is your club's mailing address. If you're an online club, you can actually like set it to the president's email, like president's address. It covers the officer terms as well, so you can change it from a year to 6 months or from 6 months to a year. And it also covers the club preferences. This is highly important to review about once a year as well, just to make sure everything is up to date. The standard club options, of course, if you change your meeting time, you want to come edit this and make sure that's up to date once a year. Club events, you can submit information that if you have a planned event like an open house or a, like a gathering or a keynote, anything like that, you can actually view all of your club's receipts and statements right here. If you're the treasurer, that's very important, especially if you have your own bank account or anything like that. And then in club achievements, you can see the achievements the club has gotten. So just coming into here, you can see that the club was last distinguished last year, and that, yeah, you can see all of that. And then, of course, at the bottom of Club Central, so if you don't remember that dashboard link I told you about, it's right here, Distinguished Performance Reports. You can verify speech contest eligibility and view reports on historical information if needed. One important thing to remember is that if you are an online club, you're not automatically assigned an EIN number, which is something most clubs get. You will have to email new clubs at toastmasters.org and request one if you need one. And just let them know, whenever you request it, you have to give them a valid United States mailing address, so that they can get that EIN number for you in the United States. But yeah, and that could be your president's mailing address or someone you know that is going to be around and can help support the club. So there you go. That's Club Central and Basecamp. Let's see. And I guess we'll cover some of renewals. So whenever you go to My Home, as I said, this is mainly with the self-pay system. With renewals, you want to contact, like as a club, you decide, am I doing self-pay or am I not? If you're not doing self-pay, your club normally already has a system set up using PayPal, the bank, Zelle, Venmo, whatever the club uses to get the money, and you can come in and submit those renewals as I showed you earlier. However, if you are enabled on self-pay and you're new to it, you can, of course, click up here. But like I said, this is only available during certain times of the year. However, if you scroll all the way down to the how to renew and click that, it'll say, are you ready to renew? Which is funny, but it's right here. You just click that and it'll bring you to the same screen as the other link, but this one's year round. So when you click this, it'll load in a moment and you can see all of your clubs. Now, for some of the clubs we've already paid, but like in the event of that one error I told you about that they're trying to resolve, like as you can see, the renewal period's unavailable, even though I haven't paid yet. And this club does not have self-pay enabled. So whenever you come into this as a club officer or a member, or when you're teaching your members how to do it, let them know if they're in multiple clubs, they may see one of these or one of these. So yeah, and you just kind of like, I guess like when you're renewing, I'm not going to do this now because I'm not going to enter payment info in front of, but you just can click, you can click on how many periods, like if you want to renew one, $60, you click checkout and you pay. And that's how to renew your membership. So if anyone has questions about this, of course, go back to the on-demand website, scroll all the way to the top where the sets of buttons are on the guide. And in the third row on the red buttons, there's a help button. You can always hit that help button, send an email, and we will get back to you and let you know your answers to your questions, or we will forward it to someone who can better assist you. I wish you all the success in your roles this year. And if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.